Ryan Carter stood at the large window of his office, looking out at the endless stars beyond New Geneva Space Station. His reflection showed a man who looked much older than his 35 years. Dark circles under his eyes told the story of too many sleepless nights. His expensive suit hung loose on his thin frame, a sign that he had been forgetting to eat again. The door chimed softly behind him. Ryan did not turn around. He knew it was his assistant bringing him more bad news about his sons. "Sir, the crystalline mentor has left," Lisa said quietly. "She says the boys are beyond her help." Ryan closed his eyes and leaned his forehead against the cool glass. That made it 7 nannies in 4 months. 7 of the galaxy's best childcare specialists had given up on his twin sons. Each one had cost him more money than most people saw in a lifetime, but money meant nothing when his children were slowly dying before his eyes. What did she say exactly? Ryan asked, still not turning around. Lisa cleared her throat nervously. She said that human children are too emotionally complex for her crystal healing methods. The boys refuse to let her into their minds. She cannot help them if they will not trust her. Ryan laughed, but there was no humor in it. Trust his 8-year-old sons had stopped trusting anyone the day their mother died in that shuttle crash 6 months ago. They had stopped talking, stopped playing, and most dangerously, they had stopped eating. The doctors said the boys were physically healthy. All their tests came back normal. But Alex and Ben had simply decided they did not want food anymore. They would drink water and take the basic vitamin pills when forced, but that was all. Every day they grew thinner. Every day they seemed to fade away a little more. Ryan finally turned around to face his assistant. Lisa had worked for him for 3 years, and he had never seen her look so worried. "Have you contacted the Galactic Childcare Guild about other options?" he asked Dot. Lisa nodded. "I spoke with Director Thane this morning. He says they have sent their best people. Zephyrian pedagogues could not reach the boys with their advanced teaching methods. The Vorthan healers tried to fix their emotional trauma with bioneural therapy, but the boys fought them. Even the Melody empaths failed, and they can usually connect with any child's feelings." Ryan walked to his desk and slumped into his chair. The office was too big, too empty, just like everything else in his life since Helen died. His wife had filled their home with laughter and warmth. Now their apartment felt like a tomb, and his sons were becoming ghosts. "Where are the boys now?" he asked. "In their room with the security monitor watching them. They have not come out since the crystalline mentor left 2 hours ago." Ryan stood up quickly. "Are they eating?" Lisa shook her head sadly. "They refused lunch again. Cook tried to make their favorite Earth foods, but they would not even look at the plates. Earth foods." Ryan remembered how Helen used to make simple meals for the family. Pancakes on Sunday mornings, soup when someone was sick, sandwiches for picnics in the station's parks. The boys had loved those meals, not because the food was special, but because their mother made them with love. Now, the best chefs in the galaxy could prepare perfect meals using molecular assemblers and taste enhancers. But the boys saw it all as poison. They associated eating with family, and their family was broken. Ryan walked toward the door. "Cancel my meetings for the rest of the day. I need to be with my sons." As he left his office, Ryan wondered how much time he had left before he lost them forever. The doctors said the boys could survive on supplements for a while, but not forever. Something had to change, or he would be planning 2 more funerals very soon. The hallway stretched before him, leading to an apartment where 2 little boys sat in silence, slowly disappearing one day at a time. 3 days later, Ryan sat in his office staring at a file on his desk. The application was simple, written on old-fashioned paper instead of the digital forms he was used to. At the top, in neat handwriting, it said, "Maya Johnson, Human Nanny, Earth Colony Graduate." "This is a joke," said Director Thane, the head of the Galactic Childcare Guild. His blue skin shimmered as he spoke, a sign of his annoyance. "You cannot seriously be considering hiring a human for this job." Ryan looked up at the alien official. "Why not? Your best people have failed. What do I have to lose?" Director Thane's 4 eyes blinked in disbelief. "Humans know nothing about proper childcare. They have no telepathic abilities to read children's minds. They cannot adjust brain chemistry to fix emotional problems. They do not even have basic bioscanners built into their bodies. How can they help when advanced species cannot? Maybe that's exactly what my sons need, Ryan said quietly. Something different. Dr. Keelix, the station's head pediatrician, shook her silver head. Mr. Carter, I understand your desperation, but humans use primitive methods. They rely on guesswork and emotion instead of science. Your sons need real help, not Stone Age caregiving. Ryan picked up Maya's application again. It was so simple compared to the others. No long list of advanced degrees from galactic universities. No certificates in neural manipulation or psychic healing. Just a basic education from Earth and 20 years of experience caring for human children. She worked on farming colonies, Ryan read aloud. Places where families had to rely on each other to survive. She helped children who lost parents in accidents or attacks. Her reference letters say she has a gift for reaching troubled kids. Earth colony children are different from space station children, Director Thane argued. They are simpler, more primitive. Your sons have been exposed to advanced galactic culture. They need sophisticated help. Ryan thought about his sons, sitting in their room at that very moment, refusing to eat lunch again. The most sophisticated beings in the galaxy had tried to help them and failed. Maybe it was time to try something unsophisticated. I want to meet her, Ryan said. 2 hours later. Maya Johnson stepped off the transport ship from Earth. She was nothing like the alien specialists who had come before. She was tall and thin, with dark skin and kind brown eyes. Her clothes were simple and practical. She carried only one small bag. While the other nannies had brought cases full of equipment and instruments, the station's childcare staff watched her with obvious doubt. Ryan could hear them whispering as they walked past. Look at her. No bio enhancements. At all. I heard humans still use their hands to cook food. How primitive. Poor children. Their father must be desperate to hire one of them. Mayo seemed to ignore the comments. She smiled politely at everyone and followed Ryan to his office. When they sat down, she did not pull out any scanning devices or start asking about the boys' psychological profiles. Instead, she simply asked, "Tell me about your sons." Ryan found himself talking about Alex and Ben in a way he had not talked about them in months. He told Maya about their favorite games before their mother died. He described how they used to laugh at silly jokes and build forts out of blankets. He talked about their fears and their dreams, not their symptoms and problems. Maya listened without taking notes or running scans. She just listened with her full attention, nodding occasionally and asking simple questions. When Ryan finished, she was quiet for a moment. "They sound like wonderful boys who are very sad," she said. "Sadness is not a disease to be cured. It is a feeling that needs to be understood." For the first time in months, Ryan felt something that might have been hope. Maya's first morning in the Carter apartment started at 5 o'clock. While the rest of the space station slept, she quietly made her way to the kitchen. The alien cooking staff stared at her with confusion as she began pulling out simple ingredients. Instead of using the molecular food assembler, "What are you doing?" asked Zix, the head chef. His green tentacles moved nervously as he watched Maya crack real eggs into a bowl. "The assembler can make perfect eggs in seconds. Why do you waste time with those primitive methods?" Maya smiled as she whisked the eggs by hand. "Sometimes the slow way is the better way," she said. "These boys need to see that someone cares enough to take time making their food." Zix shook his head and walked away, muttering in his alien language about crazy humans and their backward ways. Maya did not care what the staff thought. She had seen the boys yesterday when Ryan introduced her. Alex and Ben sat like small statues, their eyes empty and distant. They had not spoken a word to her or even looked at her directly. But Maya had noticed small things. The way Alex's fingers tapped when he was nervous. How Ben looked toward his mother's picture on the wall when he thought no one was watching. The smell of pancakes began to fill the kitchen. Maya hummed an old Earth song as she cooked, the same tune her grandmother had hummed years ago on the farm colony where Maya grew up. The alien staff gathered around, curious about the strange smells coming from the simple pan on the stove. "It smells different from assembler food," whispered Dr. Keelix, who had come to check on the boys. "Less perfect somehow." "That's because it is made with hands and heart," Maya said, flipping a golden pancake. "Food is not just fuel for the body. It is comfort for the soul." When the pancakes were ready, Maya put them on simple plates and carried them to the boys' room. She knocked gently on the door and waited. No answer came, but she heard small movements. Inside, "Alex, Ben?" "My name is Maya. I made some breakfast if you are hungry." She set the plates outside their door and sat down on the floor nearby. "I know you might not want to eat right now. That is okay. I will just sit here for a while." Maya began telling a story about her childhood on the farm colony. She talked about her pet chicken named Clucky, who used to follow her around like a dog. She described the taste of fresh apples from the orchard and the feeling of warm dirt between her toes in the garden. After 20 minutes, the door opened just a crack. A small eye peeked out, then disappeared quickly. Maya kept talking as if nothing had happened. She told them about the time Clucky got into the kitchen and knocked over a whole pot of soup. 10 minutes later, the door opened wider. Ben stepped out quietly and picked up one of the plates. He looked at Maya for just a second, then hurried back inside. The door closed again, but Maya heard something that made her heart jump. The sound of a fork touching a plate. "Thank you for trying the pancakes, Ben," she called softly through the door. "Tomorrow I might make something different. Maybe grilled cheese sandwiches. My grandmother taught me a special way to make them crispy on the outside and gooey on the inside." Over the next hour, Maya heard more sounds from inside the room, small eating noises, the clink of a cup being picked up. When she finally stood to leave, both plates were empty. Slipped back under the door while she had been talking, Maya walked back to the kitchen with the empty plates, ignoring the shocked stares of the alien staff. For the first time in months, the Carter boys had eaten a real meal. It was not much, but it was a beginning. 2 weeks after Maya arrived, something amazing happened. Alex spoke his first words since his mother died. Maya was in the kitchen making soup when she heard a small voice behind her. "Can I help stir?" Alex stood in the doorway, thin and pale, but his eyes showed life for the first time in months. "Of course you can," Maya said, trying to keep her voice calm even though her heart was racing with joy. "Stirring is the most important part of making soup." Alex walked slowly to the stove and took the wooden spoon from Maya's hand. As he stirred, Ben appeared in the doorway too, watching his brother carefully. "The soup smells like the kind Mom used to make," Ben whispered, his voice so quiet Maya almost missed it. "Your mom must have been a wonderful cook," Maya said gently. "Would you like to help me add the vegetables?" Soon both boys were in the kitchen, helping Maya prepare lunch. They talked in small voices about their mother's cooking, sharing memories. That made them smile instead of cry. The alien kitchen staff watched in amazement as the boys laughed when Ben accidentally dropped a carrot on the floor. Word of the boys' recovery spread quickly through the space station. Dr. Keelix could not believe the medical scans. In just 2 weeks, Alex and Ben had gained weight and their stress levels had dropped to normal. Their blood tests showed they were finally getting proper nutrition again. "It is impossible," Dr. Keelix told Ryan. "No medicine or therapy works this fast." "What is this human doing that we could not do?" Ryan watched through the kitchen window as Maya taught his sons how to knead bread dough. The boys were covered in flour and giggling as they worked. He had not heard them laugh in 6 months. "She is not trying to fix them," Ryan said. "She is. Just loving them." News reporters from across the galaxy began arriving at New Geneva Space Station. The story of a primitive human succeeding where advanced aliens had failed was spreading through all the news networks. Everyone wanted to know how Maya Johnson had accomplished the impossible. "This is highly unusual," said reporter Vex from the Galactic News Network, his mechanical voice translating his thoughts into words. "Our research shows that humans have no special abilities for childcare. They cannot read minds or adjust brain chemistry. How do you explain your success?" Maya sat in Ryan's office, uncomfortable with all the attention. "I do not have any special powers," she said simply. "I just remember what it feels like to be sad and scared. Children need someone who understands their feelings, not someone who tries to change them." The interview was broadcast across hundreds of planets. Within days, other human families on space stations throughout the galaxy began contacting Maya. They had children who were struggling with problems that alien specialists could not solve. They wanted to know if other humans could help the way Maya had helped the Carter boys. Maya started teaching her methods to other human caregivers on the station. She showed them how to cook simple foods with love instead of using machines. She taught them to tell stories and listen with patience. She explained that healing did not always require advanced technology. Sometimes it just required a caring heart. The Galactic Child Care Guild was not happy about the attention Maya was receiving. Director Thane issued a statement saying that Maya's success was just luck, and that proper childcare required scientific training and advanced equipment, but the evidence was clear to everyone who saw it. Alex and Ben Carter were healthy, happy children again. They ate regular meals, played with toys, and most importantly, they talked about their mother with love instead of pain. They had learned that remembering her did not mean staying sad forever. The trouble began on a Tuesday morning when Director Thane arrived at Ryan's office with three other officials from the Galactic Child Care Guild. Their faces were serious, and they carried official documents in their hands. "Mr. Carter, we need to discuss Miss Johnson's employment," Director Thane said, his blue skin darker than usual. "The Guild has received complaints about her methods." Ryan looked up from his breakfast, which he was actually eating for the first time in months. Down the hall, he could hear his sons laughing with Maya as they made pancakes together. "What kind of complaints?" "Dangerous complaints," said Dr. Vorth, a tall alien with silver scales. Human caregiving methods are unregulated and unsafe. Miss Johnson has no proper training in child psychology or neural development. She could be causing permanent damage to your son's minds. Damage? Ryan stood up quickly. My sons are healthier than they have been in months. They're eating, sleeping, and playing again. How's that damage? Director Thane spread official. Papers across Ryan's desk. These reports show that human emotional bonding can be dangerous for children. It creates unhealthy dependencies and interferes with proper mental development. Children need scientific care, not primitive attachment. Methods. Ryan picked up one of the reports and read it quickly. The document was full of big scientific words, but the basic message was clear. The guild believed that Maya's way of caring for children was wrong and possibly harmful. This is nonsense, Ryan said, putting the paper down. Where are your studies? A human children? Where's your proof that Maya's methods are dangerous? We do not need studies of humans, Dr. Vorth replied coldly. Our research is based on thousands of years of proper child care science. Humans are too primitive to understand advanced child development. They rely on emotions instead of facts. At that moment, Alex and Ben ran into the office. Their faces bright with happiness. They stopped when they saw the serious aliens sitting at their father's desk. Dad, Maya is teaching us how to make bread from scratch, Alex said excitedly. She says the yeast is like tiny living things that help the bread grow. Can we show you when it's ready? Ben added. Maya says sharing food with family is one of the most important things humans do. The guild officials looked at the boys with disapproval. You see, Director Thane said to Ryan. She's filling their minds with primitive human concepts. Sharing food has no scientific basis for child development. Ryan felt anger rising in his chest. These aliens were calling his son's happiness a mistake. My children are thriving. Is all the science I need. Mr. Carter, you must think about your position on this station. Dr. Vorth warned. The Guild has influence with the station authorities. If you continue to employ this human, there could be consequences for your business and your family status here. Alex and Ben move closer to their father, suddenly scared by the angry voices. Ryan put his arms around them protectively. Are you threatening me? Ryan asked quietly. We're trying to protect your children, Director Thane said. The Guild has filed a formal complaint with the Galactic Council. They will review Miss Johnson's employment and likely order her removal from the station. After the Guild officials left, Ryan sat with his sons in the kitchen while Maya The boys were quiet now, worried about the angry aliens who had spoken badly about their nanny. Dad, they cannot make Maya leave, can they? Ben asked, his voice small and frightened. Ryan looked at Maya, who was kneading dough with calm determination. Despite having heard every word of the confrontation, she had given his family back their happiness, and now powerful people wanted to take her away simply because she was human. I will not let them take Maya away from us, Ryan promised his sons, but deep inside he wondered if he was strong enough to fight the entire galaxy